Welcome back. This is the second part of the reading of the Antidepressant Skills Workbook, developed by psychologist Dan Bilsker and psychologist Randy Patterson. In the first video, we had a bit of an introduction to depression and how it impacts different parts of our lives. In this video, we're going to start looking at ways that you can do things differently in life that will improve your mood. Small steps. Depression involves all areas of your life. Your emotions, thoughts, actions, physical functioning, and life situation, including social support, family relationships, employment, finances, and so on. Each of these areas is concerned to all the others. As a result, changes in one area produces changes in others. When depression first develops, negative changes in one cause the others to get worse as well. But when you are working on getting better, changing one area leads to improvements in others. The goal of treatment is to get all areas of your life spiraling upward, each producing positive change that improves the others. But if you stop taking care of yourself or doing the things you normally like, your life becomes more dull and depressing. Although it can feel as though you are comforting yourself by being less active, in fact, you're probably helping the depression to get worse. In other words, depression leads to inactivity, and inactivity leads to depression, which again makes us less active, which again makes us more depressed. So it's a cycle, and they both impact each other. So depression leads to inactivity, but inactivity makes depression worse. What seems like a good coping strategy actually tends to maintain or intensify depression. The solution? Don't wait until you feel like doing more. Waiting actually makes it less likely that you will get better. And don't wait until you feel motivated. As you get better, you will regain a sense of motivation. Action starts first. Motivation kicks in later. Setting goals to increase your activity level is a powerful method for managing depression. The aim is to gradually get yourself moving, even though you might not feel like it. These are the steps to gradually reactivating your life. So we're going to start talking about reactivating your life. So step 1, identify activities to increase. There are 4 main areas in which depressed people often reduce their activity. These are involvement with family and friends, personally rewarding activities, self-care, and small duties. In order to identify some goals to work on, take a moment to consider each of these areas. List some activities in each area that have been affected by depression, or that have been neglected even before the depression began, and that could be increased. So, personally rewarding activities, let's start with that. For example, you might say, reading magazines, walking in a natural setting like a park, doing crafts or hobbies, planning travel, seeing movies, plays, or games. So why is it important to do this? Increasing your activity in this area will make a difference because 1, it reminds you of your own interests, the things that are important to you. And 2, it provides you with the badly needed rewards as your depression starts to lift. So I want you to take a moment with a pen and paper and write down some ideas, things you might like to start doing again, things that feel good to do. Remember, it could be something as simple as crafts, hobbies, movies you like to watch, games you might like to play. Go ahead, write it down. If you need to, you can pause the video. Another part of your life to focus on reactivating is self-care. So, getting dressed each day, taking time to shower and get cleaned up, exercising, eating breakfast, eating more nutritious food. Increasing your activity in these areas will make a difference because, 1, it will directly enhance your sense of physical well-being. And 2, it will remind you that you are a competent person. So again, take a moment to write down some of your ideas. What are some things that you can do to start taking care of yourself? Things that maybe you haven't been doing, things you've been doing a lot less. Simple things that are easy to get started with. So again, something like eating breakfast, going for a walk, maybe eating a fruit each day. I'll wait. If you like, you can put the video on pause and write down your ideas. Remember to write things down. Write ideas down because we'll come back to it. Another aspect of reactivating your life could be small duties. So things like opening up the mail, paying bills, house cleaning, grocery shopping, or running errands. Small things that you need to do around the home or in your life. Increasing your activity in this area will make a difference because, 1, it increases your sense of control, and 2, it reduces tension with others as you begin to take on a share of the work. So take some time to write down some things that you've been neglecting that you like to start doing again, or maybe things that you haven't been doing as often. It's important to write these ideas down because we'll come back to it. Maybe later you might choose to start doing these things again. If you like, you can put the video on pause until you're ready to start again. Something else to consider with reactivating your life is involvement with family and friends. Examples might include inviting people to do things with you, keeping in contact with people where you used to live, returning phone calls, getting out to a social group or class. Increasing your activity in this area will make a difference because, 1, it will help you regain a sense of being connected to others. 2, it gives other people the chance to provide reassurance and support. And 3, it takes you away from being alone and thinking depressed thoughts. Take a moment to write down your ideas of how you'd like to get involved with family or friends or just people in the neighborhood. You can put the video on pause if you like, and we can come back to the video once you're ready. Now that you've had a chance to write down your ideas in each one of these aspects of reactivating your life, I want to ask you to choose 2 of these activities. Pick 2 activities that are most practical for you to begin changing now. They should be from 2 different areas. So maybe one from small duties, maybe another one from personally rewarding activities. Maybe you might pick something like doing crafts or coloring or going to a movie. Pick one from one activity and pick another one from another aspect of reactivating your life. So maybe something like House cleaning. That's important. It feels good to be in a clean environment. Read over your list and choose 2 activities. If you'd like to take some time to think about it, you can put the video on pause. Remember, it should be something that's easy to get started with, something that's going to make you feel good. Next, I want you to set realistic goals for each of the activities you have chosen. Set a manageable goal for the coming week. Keep in mind that depression makes it difficult to get moving. So as a result, you need to set your goals much lower than you ordinarily would. For example, if you like to start bike riding again, your first goal might be to find your bicycle and see whether it needs any repairs. If you'd like to get the house cleaned up, your first goal might be to vacuum one room or dust one shelf. If you want to socialize with people again, your first goal might be to talk to one friend on the telephone for 5 minutes. See, very easy, very manageable. To succeed, your goals must be 3 things: specific, realistic, and scheduled. Depression can make almost anything seem like a failure. You need to have a very clear idea of your goal so that you will know you have succeeded. It must also be realistic. You may find it tempting to set your goals based on how much you think you should be able to accomplish. But don't do that. Keep in mind that depression slows you down and makes things more difficult. So your goals should be easy enough to be achievable, even if you feel very depressed in the coming week. Sometimes it seems overwhelming to think of starting a new activity. In that case, try setting the goal of gathering information related to the activity. For example, finding out what sorts of exercise activities are available in your community center. And it should be scheduled. You should have a clear idea of how you are going to carry out your activation goal. So, take a walk Thursday evening for 15 minutes, which is much better than walk more. So be very specific, be realistic about what you're expecting of yourself, and schedule when it will be and for how long. On the screen, there's an example of how you can write this down in your book. Frank started with 2 goals: slightly increasing his level of physical activity, so from none to 1 short walk each week, and increasing his level of social activity from none to going out with his wife and daughter every 2 weeks. His goals look like this. So he listed the activity to walk for 15 minutes. How often? Once a week to start. When exactly? Thursday evening. And going out with my wife and daughter. How often? Once every 2 weeks. And when exactly? Saturday or Sunday evenings. He used his appointment book to write in each of these activities. After he did each activity, he checked it off in his book. So try setting some goals that would be realistic to do this week. Decide how often or for how long you'll be doing the activity and when you will do it. If you like, you can put the video on pause and take some time to write this down. And once you're ready, you can hit play again. So think of your activity goals as appointments with yourself. Treat these goals as respectfully as you would an appointment with your physician, If you must cancel one of these appointments with yourself, reschedule it immediately and don't miss it. If it turns out that you do more, that's fine, but don't allow it to make you miss the next appointment. If you let that kind of trade-off to happen, your goals will soon be neglected. It's a good idea to buy an appointment book to keep track of your goals. So maybe something really cheap like a calendar or something at the dollar store. When you've done the goal, check it off in the book and show yourself what you've accomplished in the early stages of getting better. That's the reward. It's important to realize that you probably won't feel like doing your activity goals. In depression, your motivation to do things is much less than usual. But if you wait until you feel like it, most likely nothing will happen. Do the activity because you set a goal for yourself and because it will help you get better. After you've done and checked off each goal, you will see what you've accomplished. In the early stages of recovering from depression, it's likely that you won't get much enjoyment from your activities. But as you continue to increase your activity level and focus on recovery, you will gradually regain the ability to enjoy activities. You'll even regain the ability to motivate yourself. If you completed a goal, did you congratulate yourself? If not, do so now. Depression is likely to make you focus on things that you haven't done, or ignore and downplay your accomplishments. This keeps the depression going because you'll constantly feel like a failure. Deliberately remind yourself of your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Alright, I plan to walk around the block and I did it. Good. Don't ignore small victories or think they don't count. They do, especially during depression. If you find yourself minimizing your own achievement, but that was such a small thing to do. Remember that completing small goals while depressed is like walking a short distance with a very heavy backpack. Meeting goals while depressed is challenging, and it deserves to be recognized. If you find that you tried to follow through with a goal and you didn't succeed, think about what got in the way. What can you do to make the goal easier? Recognize that your goal may have been too ambitious for right now. Try making it smaller for next week, or substitute a different goal. Depressed people often set their goals too high, fail to reach them, and become discouraged. The problem is not that they are lazy, but that they are too eager to get well. Scale back to something you are sure you can do, even if you feel no better this week than you did last week. Washing one dish, making one phone call, opening one bill, walking around one block, or spending 5 minutes at a hobby, these are all perfectly reasonable goals. As your energy comes back, you'll be able to do more. But for now, allow yourself to get started. Slowly. And the next part is after you have tried your goals. So you might hit pause for now and come back to the rest of this video after a week. Good luck! Now that you've had a chance to try your goals, let's review them. After 1 or 2 weeks of doing these goals, review the situation. Do you want to increase the goals slightly, or keep doing them at the same level until it feels pretty comfortable? It's your choice. This is a good time to add another goal. Pick one from another area. For example, if you had self-care and personally rewarding activity goals before, choose one from involvement with friends and family, or from small duties. If you'd like to do this, take a moment now to write down your new activity. Write down how often you like to do it and when exactly. Write the new goal into your schedule along with the 2 continuing goals that you've already been doing. Remember, check off the activity goal as you do it and praise yourself for completing it. If you like, you can press pause on the video and come back to the video once you're done. After 2 weeks of doing these goals, review the situation again. Are there any goals that were not getting done? What got in the way? Do you need to reduce or change the goal? And keep going. Continue to set your ongoing goals and consider adding additional goals as your energy permits. If you complete a task, for example, if you have now finished gathering information about recreational activities in your community, then move on to a new goal. Keep using the procedure. Set your goals, write them in your schedule, check off each goal as you do it, praise yourself each time, and review the goals every 2 weeks to decide if they need a modification or whether you're ready to add a new goal. Eventually, you'll be working on 3 to 4 small goals at a time, maybe more. Don't get carried away though. Having too many goals can get overwhelming. I want to congratulate you for listening so far. I know that it's not easy, but you're taking small steps and you're open to giving it a try, or at least you're open to hearing some new strategies. So keep at it and remember to set small, realistic goals for yourself. Again, it doesn't have to be something like going out to a party. It could be something as simple as going for a walk in the park and saying hi to at least one person. That's a completely reasonable goal. It could be as simple as wash the dishes once a week. If you only wash it maybe once a month, that's a realistic goal. Or it could be vacuum once a week instead of vacuum 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe if you only shower maybe once a month, your goal might be shower once every other week. That's a realistic goal. That might be a reasonable small goal for you. Something achievable. We're going to stop the second video here. In the next video, we're going to be talking about something important called thinking realistically. Negatively distorted thinking feeds into depression, and we call that depressive thinking. So we're going to learn more about that in the next video. Thank you, and I hope that this has been helpful for you. Remember, it's important to write down these goals, write down your ideas, and try and act on them. Remember, nothing too difficult, nothing too intimidating, something that works for you. And remember, don't set yourself up for failure by setting up huge, unachievable, ambitious goals. Just something small and practical. Anything small, even if it is small, is still an improvement. So go ahead, make some small goals and work on them, and then review them and make changes as needed. See you in the next video.